It says it's live, and now I'm going go live. Found it. We're looking good so far. Hey, there's that. It says it's public. And now, oh, it's already live. Oh, this time it's live from the beginning. Wow. Am I doing this? What's happening?
I've got the buttons.
I thought, okay.
The guy with the buttons intros the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Run Button Tuesday morning show, still untitled. A little bit of contention on that one, but don't worry about it.
No, sorry, still untitled is a different web show. We cannot call this still untitled.
There is no, I don't know that show still exists. And there's definitely
you just cut that off. You were just like, oh, fuck that. Just end it. Just
I
snip
bumped it.
right
I bumped
there.
it by accident.
Oh,
It was really close. It only had 2 seconds left.
To be clear, the reason I was unsure of what was happening was I was listening to the audio. I wasn't sure if we had gotten to the part where it ducked down yet. It sounded like it had gotten quieter, and I thought you were waiting for me, and I thought like neither of us was doing it.
Nope. I don't know. I don't know why there was a duck for you.
Here we are. I thought we were ready for this to be the first official we tell you the name of the show that Keith came up with. It's Keith's name, but Keith's not ready.
It's my name, but I wasn't. I ended up not being sure about it, so we're gonna give it one more week.
Can I say, extremely Kylie move to do this, and I'm pissed about it.
To do what?
To be like, I'm not sure about this great idea I came up with.
You didn't like it at first either.
I know. I came around. We can't talk about this anymore because I came up with my tagline. I came up with my pitch line.
Okay.
It's gold.
I don't think you gave me your pitch line.
No, I did. I just every time I say you don't respond at all.
Sorry.
So I guess you don't like it. I don't know why. Welcome to the thing. Or I mean, they've already been welcomed.
Hi. Yeah. So if you're here for the first time, this is our morning show where we do half of it as a podcast and we do half of it as a let's play. Do you have anything to talk about today?
Fuck no. I mean, I have Final Fantasy 7 Remake to talk about. And oh boy, could I talk about it.
Yeah, why?
I mean, well,
what's the big deal? Can you please? Can you help me? What is the big deal?
The big deal is Final Fantasy 7 was a good game with a good story, and everybody liked it. And now they did it again, and it's shockingly good. I fully expected to hate this game.
Okay, so let me be honest with you, and with everybody. You know some of this already.
Okay.
I don't know anything about Final Fantasy.
Well,
I played almost a whole one of these. The most recent one, 15. But I basically don't know anything about the Final Fantasy world. I don't have a handle on its aesthetics. I don't understand its world. And I just never. It's not that I never had an interest. It's I guess I never cultivated an interest. I never even learned enough about it to really be interested beyond that. The last one was the big flashy thing, and from afar, I looked at the Final Fantasy VII Remake, and I had 2 thoughts at once, which is like, well, yeah, this basically looks like Final Fantasy 15, but also it looks like a totally it looked like they took all the character out of an old game that genuinely does look kind of stupid, but but that is what everybody liked.
It does not.
So I don't know.
It doesn't look kind of stupid. It looks brilliant.
Kind of stupid. It looks kind of stupid.
You can go check out the very first Run Button weekly live morning show where we played a little original Final Fantasy VII. You could see how not stupid at all it looked.
I think that we can all be adults here and admit that Final Fantasy VII, it can be a totally great game, and it can have a lot of character, and even the aesthetics can have a lot of character to them, and that it still kind of looks a little bit stupid.
Wow, what a masterpiece of visual design. We're both, wow, we stan a legend.
So what is it? What's the deal?
Well, for one thing, they made it a Yakuza
By the way,
game.
you still have the game sound going, and that's pretty distracting.
Oops. Well, you just gotta let me know about that, buddy. I can't hear it on my end.
I didn't really register for me as weird until I stopped talking.
That is pretty weird.
Yeah.
So I kind of expected to hate this game because I expected them. Like you said, it seemed like they stripped out a lot of the character. It's an action-based game, which I'm not that interested in general. I'm extra not interested in action RPGs, and I'm super, super uninterested in action RPGs that are Final Fantasy VII games, because they did that once. It was called Crisis Core, and it was on the PSP, and the gameplay was a steaming pile of dog shit, as was the majority of the story. It was quite a bad thing all around, except like the final cutscene was like shockingly good and kind of made me be like, oh, I'm glad I played this game because the end was good. But Crisis Core,
you're saying they did it. They finally made a good Crisis Core.
They finally made a good Crisis Core. Yeah. So it's this very interesting mix of stuff that is shockingly faithful to the original game, like in a way that I totally didn't expect, because none of the other Final Fantasy stuff that has come out after Final Fantasy VII, none of the Final Fantasy VII stuff that has come out since Final Fantasy VII has been good or faithful to any of that stuff at all. Like Advent Children was also terrible and not at all like the game. So it's that stuff, and it's a mix of things that are like totally different and wild takes on FF7. The only thing I really knew going into the game was I had seen like a deck line for Kat Bailey's review, who said like, suffice it to say, Square Enix does not play it safe with Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I was like, shit, what the fuck does that mean? And so far I've been really enjoying it. It feels like a childhood story has like come to life when it's like really working for me. It's like, oh my god, like I liked reading Final Fantasy VII, the visual novel, but Final Fantasy VII, the HBO series, is very compelling to me.
In what children's novel? Speak on that.
Well, I think of it that way because I played it mostly when I was a kid. But I did go back and replay original. I replayed the Midgar section of original FF7 and then some a couple weeks ago, and I was really glad I did that because it gave me like a new, fresh perspective. I kind of tried to go in, and leave preconceived ideas behind and just try to like take it fresh for the first time in a while, and I really enjoyed that. It was better than I remembered, and then and this remake is doing a whole new spin on it, which is really interesting. They didn't fix Barrett. That's a bummer.
Yeah,
It's almost inconceivable. It's almost inconceivable.
I knew that they didn't fix Barrett from before I knew who Barrett was or what needed to be fixed about it.
Yeah, like remember how we've talked a bunch. I mean, we've talked a bunch recently, I think on the last live show, about the thing where it's like, if you're not a native speaker of a language, it's hard for you to judge voice performances.
Yeah.
I wonder if there needed to be some like native English speakers going like, this might not be the Barrett voice you want. You might want a slightly different Barrett voice. I don't know. Yeah. That's just my guess. Barrett's voice very much feels like it feels like an anime black guy voice. It feels like you see a black character in an anime and you're like, that voice, I'm not sure how I feel about that voice. It's that voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's disappointing. Anything else disappointing? Anything else that you should slam? Piece of shit for?
I'm gonna fucking slam this piece of shit.
Is Barrett the one bad thing?
Ooh, it's also, there's so much other bad stuff. I'm trying to think of it all.
Yeah, we're gonna roast this.
Oh, okay,
game.
Yeah. Here's a legit roast. So many people in this game wear camo baseball caps. What's that about? I'm like, why did FF7 style need this? It's good.
That's not even a team. There's not even a camo
It's not
team.
even a team. It's not. Well, I guess we don't know. It could be the Sector 6 camo, the Sector 6 Sports Club douchebags.
The Midgar Mighties.
It is so they made it a Yakuza game. Like if you remember from our first stream,
good, because Yakuza made their game a Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, it's so true. But it does feel like, it seems like they took cues from Yakuza. There's a lot of like, you walk around a town and see who needs some help. See, and you can do some side quests, or you can move on with the story. You live at an inn. We got to the part of original FF7 where you get to Sector 7, like the bar, and Cloud just like sleeps at the bar overnight, and in the morning they're like, off we go to destroy the next reactor. And in this one, you get there, and Tifa's like, let me show you where you'll be staying at the inn. And then it's like, this is your room. And it's like, oh, I'm moving here. Like, I'm gonna be here for a bit. There was like, a sequence that is like 2 minutes long in the original game ends up being like 6 hours, because you spend like a couple days doing side quests and stuff.
What kind of side quests? Like, this is the thing I can't wrap my head around with Final Fantasy. What is it?
Okay,
where are they?
So,
and how is it there?
Okay, I'll say this. I can't speak for you necessarily, though it sounds like you're saying the same things. I hear from a lot of people that aren't familiar with Final Fantasy, as they go like, I can't get a grip on what this series is. What do I start with?
Well, I get this part. I know what you're about to say, and I get that.
The thing about FF7 is the thing about Final Fantasy is there's not much that makes a Final Fantasy what it is. There's not a lot of, like, most of the stuff that's like, oh, every Final Fantasy game has this thing. It's all very peripheral stuff. Like, every Final Fantasy game has Moogles and Chocobos, and they all have a character named Sid with a C. But, like, that's about it. And they all involve magic and swords. Sometimes guns.
But also sci-fi stuff?
Sometimes. That's the thing, is like, every Final Fantasy has its own vibe. The originals were very J fantasy, and then like they started to get, 6 was like steampunk mixed with fantasy with a sprinkle of sci-fi, and then 7 was like sci-fi mixed with steampunk with a sprinkle of fantasy, which was the completely wrong ratio for the people that loved 6. Okay,
but so answer the question just based on 7.
Okay.
Then. Because what do people
what is this
need
world?
help with? What is going on there?
Okay. Yeah. I could tell you. So the world of Final Fantasy VII is kind of like, it's like steampunk mixed with sci-fi with like a sprinkle of fantasy. It's almost like, imagine there was a steampunk fantasy world, and then Shinra Electric Power Company discovered that they could suck Mako energy out of the earth, out of Gaia, and turn it into enormous amounts of electrical power, and then created Midgar, this crazy dystopian future city, and then goes about like essentially using their wealth and power to try to take over the world, where like they start exporting their Mako reactors all around the world to give other people power, but then they're all beholden to Shinra. So like Shinra kind of represents like the sci-fi influence on the world. Once you get out of Midgar, the world feels much more like what you probably expect from a Final Fantasy game. There's like a lot more like Renaissance era looking houses and stuff with like the wooden beams in the walls.
There was a lot of like, classical looking shit in 15. Like you got to a place and there was like marble.
Yeah, 15 also had a very strange vibe. I think, and you could argue this is maybe Final Fantasy losing.
And by the way, I played like 50 hours of that game or something.
And you still don't know.
I have no idea what that place is. I have no, and I think, and this is the thing that I think that people who play Final Fantasy, there's a get out of free card being like, well, none of them mean anything together. But I got a distinctly I would understand this more had I played the other ones, even though they're not technically connected vibe from Final Fantasy 15. There's a lot of things going on where I was like, this is cueing something that I don't have words for.
Okay, so two things. I think Final Fantasy 15 had an extremely jumbled, like, sort of visual and thematic presentation.
Yeah.
So that I think that was a unique failing of FF15. I think it is like a meta failing in general of Final Fantasy at large in like the past decade. Is that I think FF6 and FF7 and 8 they sort of introduced like this. They started adding more ingredients to like the soup mix, and then it suddenly became like this hodgepodge. And now maybe even the developers of Final Fantasy don't know what it is anymore.
Right.
But also, did you watch like the FF15 movie?
No.
Okay, so there was a movie you were supposed to watch before you played the game, and then there was also
movie. How long was it?
It was a movie. It was also
full ass movie. They were like, this is the tutorial.
Yes,
this is a 90-minute movie.
Yeah, and even then, the story, I remember hearing complaints that the story still didn't make perfect sense, and Square was like, oh, don't worry, we're adding that in on DLC, and then everyone was like, great, and then after a while, Square was like, we're not doing the DLC anymore. We canceled it. So
they canceled, but that game was a huge hit.
Yeah. Yeah, Square Enix is on some shit, man. I don't know what their deal is.
It seems like a lot of Nintendo problems.
Explain that. What's a Nintendo problem?
Okay, so I'm playing Animal Crossing. Right?
Prove to me that Nintendo has any problems. Go.
Online play.
Love it. I love when I can play with a friend who's at a different house.
Yes, but do it on Nintendo.
Oh no.
Yeah, I proved
I
it.
didn't want this.
Okay, so I'm playing Animal Crossing, and maybe Animal Crossing isn't the best, like the closest to a 1-to-1 comparison here, obviously, because one of them is Animal Crossing, one of them is Final Fantasy. Just look at it. But
it's
the one that I've been playing.
Comparison.
So I've been playing it, and I get this feeling when I'm playing Animal Crossing that those people are not allowed to play other games. Like none of the people who've ever made an Animal Crossing have ever played anything except for Animal Crossing 1.
So I was thinking about this. This is a strain that runs through so many Japanese games. Do you agree? Like you come away feeling like, did they not play any other games? I feel like there's just a vibe where a lot of Japanese developers are just into the idea of them having their own way of doing things. And I would hear from people in the industry that was something that was really marring Japanese development in the 360 era. I feel like they have reached a happy medium with a lot of that stuff, and now we're seeing a lot more awesome ass games coming out of Japan again in a way that they kind of slowed down for a few years there. Like Japanese game developers used to rewrite engines every time they started a new game because they didn't like the idea of reusing other people's game code. I don't know.
But when I think about you're not saying every Japanese game.
No.
But when I think about something like Mario, which is a notable exception to this, I think, Mario
is it?
Yeah, I think that Mario makes sense, like in a broader world.
Eat the mushroom, get big. Eat mushroom, get big.
Eat mushroom, get big.
Punch
Bigger
the block.
Than before.
Punch the block. Punch the block. Get coin. Makes sense.
But when I play a Mario game, which anybody who watches Run Button knows that I'm not even really a fan of Mario.
You've done it though. It's happened.
I've done it. Yeah. But it doesn't feel like those people are kept in a box, and the only thing that they're allowed to do is replay Mario 64.
I don't know. I really don't. I mean, when I play Mario games, I'm not. I think Mario. I don't know. It also feels to me like it's kind of off in its own universe. It just kind of that universe seems to produce pretty good Mario games. But I don't really play a Mario game and think, oh wow, they're really drawing inspiration from so many other popular titles of recent years. Especially now because no one else is making 3D platformers.
Right. Well, they don't. I guess Mario is is slightly different because it doesn't need to draw on anything else because it is the second most popular video game franchise of all time.
What's the first? Animal Crossing?
Pokemon.
Oh, sure.
That's Pokemon. Yeah. And which I guess good on Nintendo, and then I think that Zelda is like in the top couple there too.
See a rat, throw a ball, catch it.
Yeah, catch it, catch the rat. Catch the rat. Catch the rat.
I forget if it was if this was like a show or a game or whatever, but like recently my daughter saw like a bird on a TV or something and was like, let's capture it. And Nick was like, what? What the fuck? And I was like, yeah, what'd you expect? They're all, these kids eat, sleep, and breathe Pokemon. They're just going to start seeing animals and think that they should capture them.
Yeah. You're gonna have to explain to your child about how Pokemon is evil.
Yeah.
And that
Pokemon's actually
and
bad.
that enjoying Pokemon has to be an abstract and parallel concept to your own sense of morality.
Listen, I had to explain what the West Coast Pact was to Lucas yesterday. So
the what?
The West Coast Pact, is that what it's called? Have you heard about this?
I don't know what
this is. Oregon, Washington, and California have announced a strategic alliance to help each other because they are not getting enough aid from the federal government.
Oh, I hadn't heard about this.
And I saw someone tweet an uncolored map of the United States, except those 3 were colored yellow, and then there were 6 states colored purple on the East Coast that were like the 6 states agreement or something, and they just said it begins, and then they also included a map of like medieval feudal Europe with just like every duchy and fiefdom like just creating this weird puke color, and it's like, oh, it's happening, I guess, sooner than we thought, but isn't that always the way? Well, enjoy your downfall of the American Empire, everybody. Try not to get feudalized or whatever.
This is my first hearing about this, so I don't know what that means, but I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't know what it means that this is my first time hearing about it.
If Keith's never heard of it, it can't be worth knowing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I heard that.
And that's why I don't like Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
because I don't know about it.
Yeah, you don't know about it.
No, but I guess to bring it back to Final Fantasy,
7?
You know, it just feels like these games have been made like it feels like Final Fantasy is something that someone scooped out of a well. Like here it is. It came from the earth. It couldn't ever be any different than this. And every time, you know, it's different. It doesn't matter. Like, this is what we got this time.
Keith, it's just the full game. Each Final Fantasy game is intact in the code, and the developers are just uncovering it.
It's Leonardo tapping away at the marble. Did he do sculpture?
DiCaprio?
Probably, right?
No, he's an actor.
Mixed media.
He did CD-ROM edutainment in the 90s.
Yeah, Leonardo da Vinci, famous for he did the Mona Lisa, he made the Whirligig, and he was a full motion video star.
Yeah, early VR. I think he did Dactyl Nightmare, whatever.
I don't know Dactyl Nightmare. I thought he did the detective one.
That was like a mall VR game in the 80s where there were pterodactyls that attacked you. I want to call it Dactyl Panic, which sounds better, but I'm pretty sure it was Nightmare.
Tex Murphy. He was in Tex Murphy.
Oh, Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I could talk about the
eponymous Tex Murphy.
Shocked by how much I like the combat since this game was directed by Nomura, and I just played a Nomura-directed action RPG game last year that was total dog shit, which was Kingdom Hearts 3.
Oh, yeah.
Garbage, that game. I could talk for hours about how much I hate that game, and I don't even understand people that think it's even a little okay. It's so bad.
What's bad about it? What's different about the two?
It doesn't Kingdom Hearts 3 doesn't seem to understand how stories work. It's one of those things like the story's been going for so long that the writers seem to think like, oh yeah, you just like put the characters in rooms and then like story happens, right? Like that's what the story is. You have your action figures and you smush them together.
Like a slower music, and then one of them says, "What about a thing?
What about friendship? Hey,
that's my impression of Kingdom Hearts.
We're here to help our friends. Hey, if you know anything about me, I'm about helping friends, and I'm here to help and I'll be friends with you, and then I'll help you. Friend help.
Honestly, it's a waste of Disney characters. I could do almost anything with Disney characters, and it would be better.
Dude, Kingdom Hearts 3 wastes Disney characters in a way it never has before. Like there are at least the Frozen and Tangled worlds in that game. Normally, Kingdom Hearts has its own weird Kingdom Heartsy version of, like when you go to Aladdin World, it's not just the plot of Aladdin. It's usually like the plot of Aladdin kind of adapted for this Kingdom Hearts world, and whatever's going on in there, it's its own weird version of it.
It always seemed to me like, do you remember Lion King? Oh, you have a kid, so you probably have seen it.
Oh, I remember Lion King.
This week. Sorry, Lion King 1.5.
Oh, no, I don't remember Lion King 1.5. I remember thinking it was a bad idea to make one.
To make Lion King 1.5?
Yeah, to make a Lion King 1.5. Remember Lion King 2?
Yeah, Lion King 1.5 is better, I think.
Probably. Lion King 2 was Romeo
that's
and
the one
Juliet.
with the moody cousin.
Yeah, it's Romeo and Juliet instead of Hamlet.
Yeah.
So it's they've cast out all the mean lions that look exactly like Scar, and then Simba's daughter falls in love with a Scar lion, and they have to convince their dad that actually Scar lions are fine.
So Lion King 1.5 is like
doesn't it?
Obviously we all hate Orson Scott Card.
It takes place during the Lost years, right?
No. Well, I don't know. So do you remember Ender's Shadow?
I remember you telling me about Ender's Shadow.
So Lion King 1.5 is the Ender's Shadow of the Lion King.
It follows Zazu.
It starts simultaneously, basically, with Lion King 1, but from the perspective of Timon and Pumbaa instead of from the perspective of Simba.
That's what I've always said. I've always been like, what are Timon and Pumbaa doing in all these scenes that have nothing to do with Timon and Pumbaa, unlike the scenes that have nothing to do with Timon and Pumbaa that they are in?
Well, hold on. You can't just come out and say that, because then you have to come out and have to say the same thing about C-3PO and R2-D2.
I don't agree, because I feel like in Star Wars, it felt like the story demanded that those robots be there. But like in The Lion King, it's literally a thing where they do the dramatic montage of Simba running through the desert to get back to the Pride Lands. He's finally going to return and take his place as the king, and then he gets there and he's like, oh no, and then Timon and Pumbaa just walk up like, hey, we decided to come with you. I know we said we weren't gonna, but then we changed our minds and now we're here.
Okay, well,
let's dress and drag and do the hula.
Here's what I would say is that a story never demands anything, because it is written.
Could I offer you this?
And so you have to find a way to get what's his name in there.
Could I offer you a different perspective from the chat?
Yeah, sure.
Juliet Lewis says, but Lion King 1.5 is one of the worst movies ever made.
Great argument.
Damn. You know what?
I saw it last time I saw it. I was 9, so I don't know. But
I watched.
It's got Nathan Lane.
Oh well, then it's got to be,
What?
Yeah, someone said they made a good point. They say there was 300 years between Hamlet and Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Maybe they just didn't give enough time. I guess that's...
you're saying that they should have put 300 years?
Yeah, they should have waited a few more centuries. I guess that's... now I'm wondering... See, I didn't realize Rosencrantz and Guildenstern were Hamlet, because I actually haven't read Hamlet.
Yeah, but
so
Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
I know that it is a comedy starring those two side characters from Hamlet. That's as much as I know.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering now, is Lion King 1.5, is that full of references to Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead that we wouldn't have gotten when we were 9? Except you, because I'm sure that was already your favorite play at the time.
I actually have not. I have not read nor seen Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead.
Wow, sounds like we've got. We've got our stream for the next week's morning show.
Yeah, we got to read. We have to read Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, and then show up and watch Lion King 1.5.
Oh, we have.
But my point was, this wasn't supposed to be about Lion King 1.5.
Well, hang on.
Was what?
Hang on, we have a different thing from the chat from a different person with the last name Lewis, but spelled differently. They say, I loved Lion King 1.5 so much as a child.
So we have competing opinions. My memory is that it was good. My memory is also that Lion King 2 was bad.
That's my memory.
But the whole point is that the Kingdom Hearts side things are supposed to be like that, like other stories, right?
Sorta.
Like it's like, here are all the characters, but they have some other problem.
Well, here's what I'm getting at, is that normally it's at worst it's an adaptation of the movie. Sometimes it's totally its own thing. But what it does in Kingdom Hearts 3 for specifically only the Tangled and Frozen worlds, I don't know if this was like a restriction from Disney. The stories are just 1-for-1 recreations. They're just 1-for-1 abridged recreations of the actual movies. So you just get these scenes that are literally just shot-for-shot recreations of scenes from the movie, but with worse voice actors, worse visuals, worse animation and editing. It's like you're just watching bad Frozen. You're just watching bad short Frozen. But
it doesn't even make sense, because I thought the whole idea was that they have like their own worlds, and the characters from the movies are like living out these worlds. Like they're stuck in the Little Mermaid world, where like Ursula's always hanging around being a villain.
Well, I mean,
isn't that the whole thing?
I mean, if we want to start delving deep into the cosmology of the Kingdom Hearts universe, we could be here all day.
I think the only part of it that I'm interested in.
I think like, okay, so the worlds in Kingdom Hearts are always tiny. They're always like you could walk the whole thing in like 2 minutes. Like, you can see it all very quickly, and it's never super clear if this is the whole world and everyone in Kingdom Hearts is totally fine with living in like a terrarium, or if they're just acting like it's the whole world and actually they're only showing you a very small piece of it and it's actually a whole thing.
Because it's a video game. So I'm gonna shoot for part 2.
Yeah, it's unclear if like Aladdin as it exists in Kingdom Hearts is notably distinct from Aladdin as it exists in the movie, or if it is just distinct because they felt like it.
Or because of the limitations of it being a video game.
Yes.
I'm leaning that it's the second thing, but is there anything that they do? Is there anything that they do to suggest that for some reason the worlds are really small on like?
Well, they depict them all as very small planets, and it'll be like, this is the this is like Agrabah. This is Agrabah. This is Aladdin. This is Sultan's planet. Sultan Kai's planet. And it'll be like the palace is taking up like 60% of the northern hemisphere of the planet, and then like the Cave of Wonders Tiger Head is like 60% of the lower hemisphere. But it's unclear how. I mean, it is stylization, because that's not what it looks like when you're on the planet. you know, there are a couple worlds that have shown up in multiple games, and there have been additional locations in those worlds. So I guess it's
okay.
It's fishy. I think it's honestly it's whatever the Kingdom Hearts writers want it to be in the moment.
Right.
I think it's the actual
suggests
answer.
that it's not part of the Kingdom Hearts cosmology and is just convenience.
Yeah. And also the combat is very bland and boring in Kingdom Hearts 3. But it's bland and boring in the worst way, where it tries to distract you from it by making it extremely visually flashy. So like I think some people, you know, the arc I followed, and I think a lot of people did, was I started playing it and went, oh wow, this is very fun. There's all kinds of stuff happening on my screen. And then after a while it was like, okay, I guess this is just it then. It's just these very sparkly teacups over and over again, and it is fun, but I've seen it, and I guess there's nothing else in this game.
Yeah, Isaac was waiting for that game forever, and then ended up playing it for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it sucks. It's total dog shit.
Well, on that note,
but
let's play Final Fantasy
VII.
But
like that was the thing. It was like after Kingdom Hearts 3 was Nomura, and he was, I don't think he was the director of original 7, but he definitely did the character design. He had definitely at least co-wrote the story. Like he had a big hand in it. And I think my takeaway from like from Kingdom Hearts 3 was like
his other hand.
Like Nomura's a hack now. He sucks. He can't make any good games. But then so like, oh, FF7 Remake's gonna suck. But then lo and behold, I'm actually enjoying it quite a lot. And part of why I'm enjoying it so much is also because I imprinted on that story and those characters when I was a child.
Right. That
So
makes sense.
you know, I see a Tifa on a screen who used to be almost a stick figure and has now come to life before me, and I have melted before her.
Yeah, I mean, you were in love with her before she was more than just 8 shapes.
Yeah, 15 triangles. That's all you need.
And
8 of those triangles were her boobs.
15 triangles, and for it to be, 23 years ago.
I gotta answer text.
I mean, I guess the disparity between Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy VII Remake is evidence that we shouldn't just think of games as made by one guy.
Whoa! Holy shit!
Yeah,
you're fucking blowing my mind here, buddy.
Yeah,
this is why we do this. These great insights.
Maybe Kingdom Hearts was bad because of one guy, and Final Fantasy VII is good because of a lot of people, or the opposite, or neither.
I'm remembering now. I think Final Fantasy VII Remake was one of those games where they had to like restart development. Like Square was like, "Hey, we know you're all eagerly anticipating this, but you're gonna have to wait a few more years because it sucked, and we're rebooting it." so that was also very concerning. But I guess it was the right move.
And then everyone was like, they're splitting this up into 3 games.
Yeah.
And we don't understand why. Is this game gonna be 8 hours long?
I think I figured it out.
What's that?
I think I figured out why they did that.
Well, they added a bunch of side quests, right?
Well, yes, but I think it's like, if you look at the way they've been doing Final Fantasy games, I guess they didn't do this with 15, because honestly, I think they abandoned 15 in favor of just finishing 7 quicker. But they did this with Final Fantasy 13, where like they spent so much money developing the original game that they felt like the only way they could make back their investment was to make 2 more sequels to Final Fantasy 13. They had 13.2 and 13.3, but those were all like really poorly conceived and shoddily developed, and people didn't really like them. So I wonder if this was their solution, was like, okay, we can't justify the expense for the way we want to make this game unless it's 3 games, so we'll just make the game 3 games instead of doing 2 lackluster sequels. And like I said, I was extremely apprehensive of this plan, less so now that I've played part 1, and it's like, damn, all right, like if the next 2 parts can all be this good, you might have a stew going.
Wow, and do you think they can be?
They could be. Who knows? I don't know.
What's your favorite part of the game? Is it the first 10 hours? Of original Final Fantasy?
That was an interesting question. My favorite part, it's hard to pick a favorite part, but that first 10 hours definitely stands out. Like it makes sense why, and especially because it's like the time you spend in Midgar, it's like I said, like you said, 10 hours. It's about a sixth of the game, but it represents about 95% of like the collective consciousness about that game. Like people just think of it like, oh, FF7, the game that takes place in that city. So it does
now though, like even if they make a good part 2, is it gonna be like in a place no one cares about with people?
I don't think so.
People don't remember.
No, I don't think so. I think the if they continue telling the story in as compelling a way as they have in the first 10 hours of the remake, it seems like it'll be good.
Even if it's not out in until 2024.
I mean, listen, there's no accounting for Square being Square. Like I can't, did you see my tweet of like that when I finished the Midgar section of the original game?
No.
I tweeted a screenshot of original FF7 that said like, well, I guess this is goodbye Midgar, and I said, like, great game, love the story, can't wait for the next part in 2027. So yeah, I'm very concerned about how long it's going to take those games to come out. But the thing about original FF7, it's not that the game wasn't memorable or compelling after they left Midgar. I just think Midgar was, I mean, first of all, it's the beginning of the game, and most people don't get that far into games, as we well know. Right. So I think it was a very long, unbroken section of that beginning of the game, and it was really good. So I think it just kind of looms large in people's memories of it.
Well, that's sort of what I mean is like, because people don't have the emotional ties to the rest of the parts of the game, are they even going to care?
Well, I don't think people that only remember Midgar from that game are the people that have like the actual emotional connections. You know what I mean? Like I don't think there's a bunch of people out there that care a lot about Midgar and don't care about the rest of the game. I just think there's a lot of casual video game fans that went like, oh yeah, that game, the Final Fantasy game that everyone liked back then, that was okay. Yeah. It had that city, sure, whatever.
Right,
like that person.
But those are the people that you have to sell the game to.
Well, I mean, they're selling this game to them. It's a whole game that's in that city.
Right, but that's what I mean. The next one.
I don't know.
Are they going to care again if they already got the thing that they were, the only part that they remember?
Yeah, that is a question. It could be a dicey proposition, but I think they could definitely do it. They definitely have shown thus far, from what I've seen in the remake, no hesitation to chop and screw the story in any way they feel makes the remake better. So I'm definitely expecting that, there are large sections of the post-Midgar parts of FF7 that are, I don't want to say forgettable, but at least things you wouldn't miss if they were cut for time or whatever. But then again, I guess they're doing the opposite of cutting for time. They're trying to fill 2 more games, so who the fuck knows? I don't know.
Yeah.
With
that being said, Kylie, we should move on to our next feature.
What's our next feature?
Playing this game.
Here it is. We're in a PlayStation.
While we're switching this over, everyone should know that Kylie and we do Run Button. Our videos are over on youtube.com/runbutton. You can also support the show by going to contentburger.biz. That's our Patreon. You can go there.
Or you can go to contentburger.biz. You can go to.
You can't do that. You can only go to contentburger.biz.
That's not true. You can go to contentburger.biz. It'll work just fine.
Nope. You can't do it. I mean, you could literally do it, but it won't feel right.
It won't feel right.
It won't feel right.
It's true.
But yeah, you can go there. You can sign up. You can get our Shenmue 2 Let's Play. We get another episode of Shenmue 2 coming out today.
Oh, damn. Because you know what else the patrons are getting today? They're getting early access to episode 3 of our Metal Gear Solid Let's Play. We just started playing Metal Gear Solid, and third one is out early. All of our videos. Okay, let's be honest. Most of our videos come out early for our patrons.
These don't come out early because this is a public show that goes up the day that it comes out.
Yeah. Public live shows go
and then
public immediately, obviously.
And then sometimes we decide that
look at that though.
Look at video up in a long time, and then we don't put it out early. Those are the only exceptions.
Here we are. So, Keith was skeptical about playing this game for the stream because it's only 45 minutes. Is that enough time to show all the cool stuff in this game? No, of course it's not, because it's even more drawn out than the original. But
yeah,
I have a number of selected points that we can jump into. We have a sweet moment with Tifa. We can jump into, we have a second sweet moment with Tifa. We can jump into, we go to the second, reactor. Keith passes on
reactor
Tifa.
Sounds okay.
Keith passes on Tifa. What a so-and-so, am I right?
Well, just don't care. I just don't care.
All right, I'll meet you in the middle. I'll skip the first Tifa one. We'll do the second Tifa one.
Why?
Why not?
I don't know.
We're here in Sector 7. We just met. Sorry, we're continuing where we left off with the original game in the remake. We're here to talk to Tifa in Sector 7.
I just think, I don't care about this character, so showing me an emotional moment with between two characters I don't know or care about isn't going to be an effective.
That's a really good point, and I guess I hadn't thought about this till now. Actually, this show isn't for you. It's for the people watching it.
Yeah, but they don't care either.
Oh, they don't. Damn, I guess I screwed that up. Yeah, sorry, I guess nobody cares about FF7. I got that wrong. Sorry, everybody.
Well, but here's the show has to be for me.
Yeah.
Because I have to have something to say about it, or we don't have a show.
Keith, I'm really sorry that this 45 seconds won't be for you.
You were out for a while.
Just walking.
I ran into Johnny, by the way. Said not to worry.
He's so
he was
enraptured.
getting out of town.
He can't even speak because he's so taken aback by the cinematography.
You weren't thinking of leaving Midgar anytime soon, were you?
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out who these people are, why I care about them, what's going on in the scene, what they're talking about, and trying also not to talk over it.
Can't say this is quite what I had in mind when I put that on you way back when.
If you want to talk, I'm listening.
Huh? What's with you all of a sudden?
With me?
Like you're losing that hard edge.
That bad?
Not at all. I like it.
Cloud's eyes aren't
Maybe
fucked up
Marlene
enough.
won't be so scared of you next time.
There's some bullshit I like about this game.
Fucked up?
Because he's been, he was in Soldier, and soldiers are...
I'm really glad to have you back,
They're
Cloud.
tempered with Mako energy to make them very strong, but it gives them fucked up, like, creepy looking eyes where they look exhausted all the time, but their eyes glow.
Yeah.
And his eyes just don't look shitty enough. They every time they make Cloud in 3D, the designers want him to be too pretty. They won't let Cloud be even very slightly not a picture of male beauty.
Is he's supposed to look like a little bit stiff?
So now here is some. This is interesting to me because this is new stuff that was not in the original. I don't know who the fuck these cloaked ghosts are, but they keep popping up, and I don't know what their deal is.
Do you literally not know?
I literally don't know. I thought I had an idea of what they were, but then I saw something else that made me think that I was wrong. So now I'm just like, damn, what's this about? I've definitely heard like, hey,
what's wrong?
This is one of those remakes that plays upon your pre-existing ideas of what the story is and where it goes. So
we were getting ready to set out when those things
anything could happen in this game. I don't know.
Barrett and FF7
I'm getting kind of worried about my girl, if I'm being honest.
I don't know.
Let's go.
Not about Cloud.
No, Cloud's fine. Whatever.
Isn't Cloud the one experiencing the ghosts? Oh, I guess there's a bunch of ghosts around that.
This was also, sorry, this was the other reason I picked this moment is because also combat.
You know it.
Right.
Let's head for the bar.
So here I've got my regular ass action-y combat. What I've really liked about this game though is that you push X to do the pause, and I've compared this to Mass Effect in the past, but in practice, it's not quite the same because you can just, it's super slow motion and it doesn't run out. You can just do it forever. And you can pick your spells, like I can cast Blizzard over here, then I can swap over to Tifa and do some combos this way, and then I can like have her queue up a spell.
It doesn't run out in Mass Effect, right?
I think it does, or I mean, maybe in Mass Effect the thing is it's so quick that you can't stay in it forever because there's genuine danger that you're gonna get shot by somebody while you stand there. But in here, it's like
one.
I think. Yeah, I don't think Mass Effect 1 ever had like a full-on like the game is paused. But you can see down in the bottom right corner here, the characters have these time meter bars that fill up. They fill up over time and fill up when they do physical attacks, and that's their abilities and spells and items. So what's cool is there have been times where I will like swap between the characters and only worry about like what abilities I'm having them do, and like as soon as I queue up their abilities, I'll just switch out to the next character and then do the same thing for that, and it ends up feeling so much more like a turn-based game than I expected.
Yeah.
So that's been fun.
Well, I mean,
and every character has their own.
Honestly, this is like the new. This is the new KOTOR. This is the new real-time pause.
Yeah,
we finally have it.
We finally have it. Oop.
Maybe I would like this.
That's what honestly, I think you would like this game. That's why I want to show it to you. I think this is you're into Final Fantasy VII. I don't think you would like the original. I think you would like this one.
I also don't think I would like the original. Why don't you think I would like the original?
Because you don't like turn-based RPGs? Or now that you ask me that, I'm not sure.
Well, I guess I would be concerned, you know, when the fighting started and I had my characters on my side and the other characters on the other side, and I would be like, why aren't these holding back?
No idea.
You didn't like that?
Hey, Keith.
Yeah?
Keith, did you just do a really funny Pokemon joke?
It was medium funny.
If I had heard the whole thing, I would have loved it, but my headphones died, so I'm gonna switch the batteries real quick.
Okay.
I need you to vamp for at least 10 minutes. Go.
Okay. Robert in the chat said, "This is Final Fantasy VII." Yeah, this is the Final Fantasy VII remake that came out this week. Yeah. You look nice said, "My favorite run button bit is it." That's not actually a bit as Keith relating error than KOTOR 2. Well, it's applicable all over the place. Although this, you know, technically just KOTOR works fine. If you're not familiar with, you know, one of the main styles of doing an RPG is turn-based, but one of the other main styles of doing an RPG is real-time with pause.
Okay, stop. This is the worst vamping I've ever heard. What are you even doing?
Someone was talking about how I relate everything to KOTOR.
Look at this.
Explaining why I was relating this to KOTOR.
Gotcha. Look at this jackass just runs around with this big-ass sword on his back all the time. That's the best thing about the remake is he always has the sword.
Yeah, over here.
I guess
he should have to carry it around. He should have to prove that this makes sense.
Yeah. It's so funny. As you build your rep in the town, you start you become almost like, you know, like a village handyman, but the only thing you're handy with is killing all the monsters that keep threatening the townspeople. People start being like,
why are there so many monsters here?
Because the Mako reactors and Mako energy leaks out of the reactors, and it causes like animals and stuff to mutate into monsters. And the upper city
have gotten quieter and the game has gotten louder.
Oh no! Why would that be?
I don't know.
That's not.
So my Pokemon thing was, you said that I don't turn-based RPGs.
Better?
I would say I don't mind turn-based RPGs, but I would be confused and see my characters on my side and their characters on the other side.
Right, and going, which one's your Pokemon?
But why aren't they Pokemon?
Yeah, what's happening?
I just don't understand.
you would get in there and you would think, wait a second, there's nobody that I'm behind the back of, so I'm just watching this fight?
Yeah, only Pokemon are supposed to take turns when fighting. Everyone else is supposed to fight at the same time.
That one's pressured. Or it's staggered. There's a whole stagger system. You build up their pressure meter, then they get staggered, then they can't move and you do extra damage. I guess for me the thing was, with FF7, I think genuinely I would just assume that you would like it, but you've been so adamant about being disinterested even after I showed you that game that I guess I'm just like, I guess Keith's not for that game.
Yeah, I didn't see anything happening that was like, wow, I should try this.
But I know you're all about the Yakuza now. So
yeah, Yakuza is really good.
Yeah, I got a text from Davies being like, I've heard this is like they made FF7 a Yakuza game, and I was like, I literally just thought that to myself. I had a moment where I was like, is this just Yakuza now? Am I just a street tough out to clear up some monsters?
You should play Yakuza 0.
I just bought Yakuza 0 for $6, so it's on the docket.
Nice. That is a great price.
Yeah, it's a very good price for that game, I think.
I think I also paid something ridiculously low for it. And then I played it, and then I was like, I actually would have paid more for that game.
Yeah, a lot of people did, and they were happy about it.
I should play more. I should play another Yakuza game. I should get another next in the series.
Yeah, I'm jumping on with 7 when it comes out.
Yeah.
I think we had talked about this before. I heard that the reason that Yakuza 7 was turn-based is because the director of the game is a big Dragon Quest fan, which I think is true. But what I've since learned is I believe also the protagonist of Yakuza 7 is a big Dragon Quest fan.
Oh, yeah, did you not know that?
I didn't know that, yeah. And that's why it's called Like a Dragon.
Right.
Yes. Very cool.
It's, well, that character didn't exist until the guy that made him wrote him to, Dragon Quest.
Exactly.
But it's not just like, I
what
like
a
Dragon Quest, so I
coincidence.
made a Dragon Quest game. Yeah, what are they, like, this guy, wow, I can't believe that this character and this writer synced up like that.
Ah!
Yeah, they just pulled the game from the well, and out came...
I just opened my mouth, and out it came.
Wow,
these things are, like, not letting up.
Maybe there's something else you're supposed to be doing.
No.
Because it doesn't seem like you're having trouble, but it does seem like they're taking a lot of hits.
Yeah. Enemies in this game do take a lot of hits in general. That boss fight that we did on the live show the other day that took like 2 minutes, that was like a 35-minute boss fight that I almost failed like a number of times.
You know that, well, you almost failed that time too.
Well.
Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's right, because I wasn't paying attention. I took it so unseriously that I almost got wrecked. There we go.
Yeah, you got extremely lucky that you didn't die.
Here's Jesse. They make Jesse way more of a character in this game, and I'm all there for it, because I felt like Jesse was definitely a character that got short shrift in the original.
Nice.
I'm not sure that I love the character she is in this game, but I like that she is there.
Why?
She's... Well, you know, Keith, she's overly flirty, and you know how I feel about a promiscuous girl.
Me and my 2 left feet.
But her character, she's just like way too into Cloud, where like every dialogue line she has is like dropping some hint about like, I want to bone Cloud, and it's like, we get it. We get it. The game has introduced a third, this is now a love quadrilateral.
Guess I shouldn't be surprised, so.
Oh, there was a triangle?
Yeah, it's Cloud Tifa Aerith.
Aerith.
I guess I'm gonna have to switch to Aerith now. I guess I don't have a choice. What's fucked up though is that I'm already on board with Mako as opposed to Mako. I thought that was gonna bother me through the whole game that they call it Mako instead of Mako energy, but I'm already like, it's Mako. I have Mako eyes. I have better Mako eyes in real life than Cloud has in this remake. I'll just say it.
What did you do to your leg? Does it hurt?
Not nearly as much as the fuss everyone's making. Still,
I have blue eyes and I am permanently exhausted every day of my life. So all the time I'll just look in the mirror and be like, there's my Mako eyes.
Is it? And now it's because you were in Soldier?
It's because, yes. Well, here's the thing about me, Keith, is I was not accepted into Soldier, but I thought I could sneak in, so I snuck to a Mako reactor one day and tried to expose myself to Mako. I gave myself a Mako shower, and it went real bad.
You secret to your success did.
What is that? Is that a movie?
You found an empty Mako reactor and you snuck in there and you gave yourself Mako eyes so that you could fit in at your new corporate job.
That's what I did. My new corporate job at
secret
Shinra.
to your success did.
Go and raise some hell for me, okay?
Oh. So, what was interesting here? Check out real life Wedge. I can't believe they actually kept this character the way he is. Look at him.
It sounds like that guy that was in an episode of Community and then also was in a few commercials and then was in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, I definitely know the voice. I'm like, can't wait to look up that guy's face and be like, oh yeah, that guy. I know that guy. But so like, I definitely know the voice.
He played like a drug friend of Jesse in Breaking Bad.
Yeah, drug friend. Hey Keith, by the way, when are you gonna do another episode of Drug Friends?
Okay, I found him. I searched Breaking Bad friend, and I think that I found it. I found a picture of him, but I'm not seeing. It takes me to the AMC cast page.
I'll show you one of my favorite things about the FF7 remake right now.
All right.
Matt Jones. If it's Matt Jones, you have to give me major props.
Why? Just because you remembered that guy with that extremely distinctive voice was in a very popular show?
Okay, I heard 3 lines from a character that's
it's under a very distinctive voice.
It's under your voice,
Right,
with other characters while we're talking. Matt Jones. It just sounds like this guy.
Okay, Keith, but are you looking at my screen though? Is that a no?
Yes.
I just love this that you can just look up and it's like, look at that sick skybox.
I can't see anything interesting on the screen share. I'm looking at the actual stream now. That looks pretty good. Yeah, that was good.
This is my new favorite skybox in a game. I streamed on my own, just like directly from my PS4 the night that it came out. And there was a scene where Cloud got off the train.
It is Matt Jones, by the way. I nailed it, and I got it right.
Good job. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you. Sorry, that did not sound like major props to me. Please. Please give it up.
Holy shit, Keith. Did you seriously fucking know that it was Matt Jones just from 3 lines from a character on a game you haven't played under my voice?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
While we were talking, I heard it, and I was like, that's Matt Jones, that guy that was on Community, and then was in a commercial, and then was in Breaking Bad.
Wow, that's sick. That's sick. That's sick. So by the way, this game does have pre-rendered backgrounds, because it's this one.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
I will say this, unclear, because the original game was largely top-down, so you didn't ever really get, even though it was all about, hey, there's this big plate above them, you didn't really get to see it that much. But then...
Why was there a big plate above them? I don't understand what that is for.
That's the upper city. That's where the riches live.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
So that...
I forgot. It's Taurus. I forgot.
Yeah, so that place doesn't have any monsters. They leave all the monsters down in the Undercity to eat the poor people.
Why do the monsters know to only get the poor people?
Well, they have guards to keep out the monsters up top. Also, it's a elevated plate. I don't know if the monsters can even get up there.
You look nice. Says, how are you supposed to pronounce the name of the car in Mass Effect? That's Mako. The word is Mako.
Yes. Yeah.
Mako is some dumb invented shit.
Yeah. Or it's a Japanese word that I'm not familiar with. Or
Sure,
wait.
fine.
Oh, wait. But that's also the name of the shark. I think it's more a pronunciation thing. I think we would pronounce it Mako. I think the Japanese pronunciation is Mako. Because aren't Mako sharks Japanese sharks? Aren't they in the Pacific?
Well, they are... I believe Mako sharks tend to live in international waters. So they are the world's creatures.
They are shark pirates.
They
have
eat
no
tuna.
affiliation.
They're extremely fast. They eat tuna. They're deep sea sharks, but I don't know what part of the world they actually live in.
All right.
Let's look at a map.
Let's get on this train. Let's get on this train.
They live they live all over.
All over. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, I'm looking at a map of where they live, and it is like the middle 2/3 of the entire globe.
The entire globe. Cool.
Yeah.
But they say Mako in Mass Effect. It's a voice acted game.
Yeah.
It was in the sequel they introduced the Hammerhead, which is my favorite shark.
But I wouldn't blame someone for not remembering how they said Mako in a game that came out over a decade ago.
No. Fair. Here's some fucking nerd. He's the side quest about using the scan materia on all the enemies. Like, hey, you better find out what those enemies' weaknesses are. And then when you come back and tell me all the research you've done, I'll give you a reward, quest reward. You know that guy? You know that thing? You know that guy in all those games? They're like, hey, research enemies and tell me about it.
Yeah.
Look at this pillar.
I just want to point out in the chat, at least in the YouTube chat. I don't know about the Twitch chat. Nobody there gave me props for that Jones thing, so I am a little bit concerned. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying that it's weird that you didn't already.
You said you didn't look at Twitch?
I didn't look at Twitch.
Okay, I'm seeing here in the Twitch chat, everyone's like, holy shit, Keith really did that. Keith just fucking did that straight off his dome, and everyone's on the floor.
Viewers.
Everyone's on the floor in the Twitch chat. They can't even believe it.
Thank you. Thanks everyone. YouTube chat, pick up the pace.
Victor Gomez says, "Oceans need borders." Thank you. We have to keep these sharks contained.
They're everywhere. If you saw this map, you'd be concerned now about Mako sharks. You're never safe. You're never safe.
Never safe from a shark.
That's why I don't fuck with the ocean.
And that's why I don't even go near streets. So I'm too afraid of street sharks. They have all kinds of sharks now. There could be anything.
Oh, you won't catch me in a sewer.
Oh God, no. Yeah, you don't want to get in a sewer. You'd be dog meat immediately.
We anticipate that our arrival in Sector 4 will be later than scheduled.
So here's the train. We can compare it to the previous train. Not quite as much of their weird cyberpunky, steampunky stuff happening, but they do still have the weird light tubes.
Head for Mako storage.
And then blow it all to hell.
So I was somewhat pleasantly surprised to see. We talked about how maybe they downplayed Avalanche's role in blowing up the reactor in the opening here that everyone saw from the demo. So they did do that because what ended up happening was, spoilers for the opening of the game, that they meant to just blow up like a small piece of the reactor to stop it from working, but Shinra used that opportunity to blow up their whole reactor on purpose to blame the Undercity, I guess. I can guess at the reasons from previous knowledge of the original game, but at this point we don't really know why.
Well, villainizing poor people seems like a
Yeah,
thing that an evil corporation would do.
Yes.
I guess the difference though is that in the first one, this is a group of people that were not just willing but literally doing.
Yes.
Basically like eco-terrorism.
Yeah. But what I like about this though is that even though that happened, and so now they're like, oh geez, that explosion was so much bigger and more devastating than we thought. And you like and like civilians died on like city streets and stuff, but they're still not like, oh, maybe we shouldn't do it though. They're just like, all right, next one, let's go. Except Tifa's having second thoughts.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point.
It's
that
something.
they're not like, yeah.
It feels more like
in the first game. That's what they wanted. Like they literally wanted to do that.
It felt. I was
and
concerned.
instead they used it to.
I was concerned that this was about declawing Avalanche, but it feels more like extra clawing Shinra.
But did they need to do that?
No, I don't think. No.
Was anybody not convinced Shinra was the villain?
No, they didn't need to do it, and they shouldn't have done it. But I was like slightly relieved that it wasn't quite as bad as I thought.
It's not as bad as you thought.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Avalanche is a blight
I can buy that.
Love this guy.
Their bomb threat has thrown our offices into chaos, let alone the reactor itself. It's total insanity.
I love he is called out by his name card as a middle manager.
Everyone at Shinra agrees. The reactor will stay online.
Is that right?
What? You got a problem with that?
You got a problem with that?
I don't.
Gun hand, big gun hand man.
Yeah, he's got a fucking gun for a hand. And the gun is bigger than your whole head.
I'm gonna sit over here.
You know you're better than that.
Better than that, Barrett. Keep your
Better than what?
urges under control.
Are you? You know you're better. You know you're better than having this guy pick a fight with you.
Oh well, no. If Barrett was like about to like start really arguing with the guy, and Cloud was like, "Hey, bud, you should calm down." Cloud like put a hand on his shoulder or whatever. It's lame.
Fuck Cloud. Cloud's a cop.
Well, I don't know that he's so much a cop as much as he is not wanting their cover to be blown / not giving enough of a shit about the planet. What was interesting in this one, if you remember, in the original, he was still like, I'm only in it for the money. I don't care about your cause or whatever.
Yeah.
And he still does that in this one. But unlike the original one, where they were just totally happy to let him into their secret hideout and in on their plans and just pay him for the next mission. In this one, they actually were like, oh, actually, if you're not in with our cause, you can't come on the next mission. But then it turns out, as we saw earlier, Jesse got hurt and couldn't go. So now Cloud is stepping in.
Hey, what's up with the two little glowies in his sword?
Those are materia. Those are magical orbs that give you special magic powers and abilities like fire spells.
Is it a very normal thing to do to be a big sword carrying guy and a gun hand man just hanging out on a train?
That's what I'm wondering. The people of Midgar seem to... They're wary of them, but they're not so wary that they're gonna get off the train. Oh, whoops. I'm in my slow mode.
It just, you know.
Well, you remember a couple years ago when everyone had a gun for a hand, and then people started putting knives on their toes.
Well, I just mean, you know, this is a world that...
It's not our own.
It's a world where when people look at these characters, they should immediately know, like, oh, these are Undercity.
Yeah. Well, they're on an Undercity
Look at their clothes.
train.
They've got a gun for a hand. They're wearing ratty armor.
What are you doing?
Yeah.
Trying to keep you alive.
Well, they're on an Undercity train.
I don't care.
Did my
I don't
fucking
want anyone
headphones
to
die
die.
again?
Please.
No, they did not.
Your headphones die again?
No.
Look after the others.
Okay.
Oh, we find out that the middle manager from Shinra is going to be completely heartless. Wow. Make you think.
There's no end to that.
It does not. It does not make me think. Sorry. Sorry, Gabe.
Well, the thing here was that the train was going to be loaded with people, and they were going to blend in slightly better. But because of Avalanche announced the bomb threat, like, hey, if you don't shut these reactors down, we're going to keep blowing them up. So that's why the train is so empty. So they got on the train, and they were suddenly like, ah, shit, now we stand out like crazy. And it kind of.
And now they're being attacked.
And now they're being attacked
because they stood out. Got it. I mean, how do we know that middle manager didn't call the cops on them?
We don't know that.
And if it wasn't him, it was just some other middle manager. Unless there's cameras. Is there security cameras in this game?
I believe I don't know about this train, but I think in a later cutscene I did see a security camera. I was very bummed to see it looked like a normal modern security camera, not like a crazy sci-fi steampunk security camera. Put a Tesla coil on that bitch.
All right, you ready?
Ready.
We're ready.
Ready to slap the robots.
Ready to.
It kind of does make Cloud look like a total rube, and that he has this gigantic sword and can't be any more effective in combat than Tifa, who's just like literally punching metal.
It is great though. There are a bunch of moments where like Cloud tries to play off like he's super cool, and his party members totally don't buy it. And Cloud's like, "Oh, that was easy," and Barrett's like, "Yeah, sure it was, dude." Yeah.
I can just play this, right? I can just play if I wanted to try it. I can just play it on your account.
Yeah, you just play it on my account.
On my PS4.
Yeah.
Because your account is on my PS4.
Yes. True story.
Okay. Maybe I'll try it. If I try it, you'll hear about it.
All right. And what I have, dude, I think we've got like, we were a bit late with the stream. I think we've got 10-15 minutes left.
That's gotta be him.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
I'll jump ahead one more time, just further down this train tunnel sequence. Is very
Seti says it's an ID scan checkpoint that blows their cover.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Whatever. I mean, I knew that of the original. I was not taking in the cutscene we were watching because we were busy talking. But I feel like there's something to that. In the original, it was only ID scan. I think in this remake, it was something about like they definitely make a point of being like, oh, the train is empty. We stick out like sore thumbs now. So here's
sword thumbs, more like
sword thumbs. Hey, here's the thing. We learned that we have to make our way through the subway by following these graffiti dogs. This is a Shinra mascot dog. Stamp the.
Wait, let me see it again.
Stamp the Shinra dog.
Oh, I like that dog.
I love Stamp.
Let's appropriate it from Shinra.
So you can, yeah, you can. I mean, that's literally what they're doing because they're using it to make their way through the subway, I think. But you can collect music tracks in this game. And I found a vending machine that was playing a Stamp
Another
theme.
way that this game is exactly like Animal Crossing.
It was playing a Stamp theme song that was incredible. It was like an anime intro theme, but about this dog Stamp.
Nice.
Very, very good.
How far ahead did we cut?
We cut like maybe 30 minutes of fighting enemies in a subway tunnel.
Okay.
Not so much. I do have...
I would say smart move, having that save ready.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There's an old rail yard not far from here. What we're looking for somewhere.
I also have another save file that doesn't have as much combat happening, but it's this.
Hey, his eyes look more fucked up.
His eyes look more fucked up now? Oh, here's Heidegger. He's a Shinra baddie. He's like the head of the military, the Shinra military. I'm a little...
Companies should not be allowed to have militaries.
Ooh, I don't know if
Call
Shinra
me
would
crazy.
agree with you. Here, this guy is very imposing and intimidating. In the original, he was much fatter and had an even bigger beard and came off as kind of like
a bureaucrat,
almost like a Winston Churchill type or something, like, and even more cartoonish. Like, not, I guess it wasn't that he wasn't imposing, but he was just kind of like, he was funnier and seemed more like a dipshit. And this game seems like you should be afraid of Heidegger, which I can't get on board with being afraid of Heidegger.
No? Doesn't he control the military of the government state of the company?
Keith, I'm an ex-soldier.
How do I do it?
Yeah, you're right.
Keith,
sorry.
My best friend has a gun for an arm.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to apologize to Barrett. I kept saying he has a gun for a hand when everyone knows that he has a gun for a whole arm.
Well, it's a forearm. Yeah, gun for a forearm. Let's see if we have any weapon upgrades to do just for Barrett. In original FF7, you would just replace your equipment all the time. In this one, the weapons level up because modern video games.
You know, I feel like everyone would be a lot more impressed that I got that was Matt Jones if they could hear how quiet and shitty the game volume is.
I mean, they're probably hearing the same thing.
No.
Hey,
it's kind of choppy over the stream.
Twitch chat, let me know if you want the game volume bumped up or down at all. You know, obviously
Just Twitch chat, not YouTube chat.
Just Twitch chat, because that's what I'm looking at. I know, Ice Cream Jones. I'm gonna replace my weapons to get more skills. Don't worry about it. Don't even sweat it. And now, so our weapons have materia slots. And I'm going to Barrett here, and I'm gonna add some materia. He's got lightning, barrier, and healing.
Are they all green? They should all be different colors.
Because those are spell materias, and we have the yellows and the purples.
How many materia can you have at the same time?
As many slots as you have, I guess.
So you could have a sword with like 10 little dots on it.
You sure could. I think the original only got up to 8, but yes.
That's pretty cool. I just like adding dots to your sword. That's fun.
Adding dots is very fun. I mean, especially now the materia is modeled in the game. You see it in the weapon slots. Do they work together in any way? So you can see here I'm looking at 2 slots that are linked. I know all about some materia that work together in the original game. I haven't encountered any in the remake yet. But in the original, it would be like, here's a fire, and then I would connect it to a materia called All, and that would let me cast fire against all of the enemies once per battle instead of just against one. But I don't know about this one. Maybe I'll find an All materia in this game. Who knows?
Ooh, deadly dodge. How do you make a dodge deadly?
It says, attack command will do area damage immediately after dodging.
Okay, that's fair.
So in Tifa's case, it manifests as if you dodge roll and then hit attack, instead of doing a punch, she does like this crazy like sweeping jump kick.
Big Egg says that is the case in this game. I don't know for sure what that's talking about, but I think that it's about the materia.
The all materia, yeah.
Combining materia.
You really don't like Stamp, do you, Barrett?
Yeah, Barrett. Nice.
Hell yeah.
Here's the problem with Barrett. Barrett seems sick.
Yeah, that's the problem with Barrett, right? Is like Barrett is great. It's just there's a couple problems with Barrett, and like that's why it's extra disappointing with this remake, because it was like, you could have done it. You could have made Barrett not even a problem a little bit. Or, okay, Barrett was always going to be a tiny problem, but it didn't have to be as bad as it is in the remake. But still, it's not the worst it could be. Barrett's still not terrible. It's just, it could have been
Look,
better.
we can look past the sort of racist way that he was written.
Yep.
And acknowledge that also he's fucking sick.
He's fucking sick. He definitely, so far in the remake, in his dialogue, he does the thing where he's doing the thing where he sees Shinra as the root behind every problem, and I don't know that he's wrong, but I feel like the game is angling up to do a thing where he takes his disdain of Shinra too far somehow, and I'm not sure I'm there for it, but I guess we'll see it when it happens.
Barrett's a Shinra reductionist.
Yeah, exactly. Let's be Barrett for a hot second. Why not? Barrett's fun.
Yeah, shoot the gun.
Shoot the gun. Barrett, shoot it. I really like that all the characters play differently. They don't feel like the same character remapped to a different character model, so it's a little refreshing to jump around. Sometimes I'll be Tifa for like an hour mostly, and then, you know, I'll get some Cloud back in there.
Big A says you can add elemental to a spell materia, and it will add that spell's element to your regular attack.
Yeah.
You already know that.
I didn't think of it at the time, but I am aware of it. Let's get some Curas in here. Why don't we? Hey? Everyone get each other. We're a family here.
Round robin. Is there something that Barrett can do to feel more active?
Barrett does not feel very active because he's just standing there. But I can walk you through what I'm doing here. So I've got my regular attack, which is not much. Then I have my overcharge here, which is a more powerful attack that builds meter faster. And I have to wait for my charge up move to recharge, and so that is just a meter that slowly refills. But I can give it like a little nudge where I'll hit triangle and Barrett will stop shooting for a second and kind of look like he cocks his gun arm, and then the overcharge recharge meter will recharge a little bit.
When you are shooting at his basic attack, does Barrett continue firing, or do you have to hold down the button or something?
I hold down the button.
Okay. I guess that's something. Like, it just seems like with everyone else, you're like you have to like have timing and hit at the right times. And you're away and closer.
You're just kind of mashing. But so like Tifa here, she mashes. I can hold triangle to do an uppercut. But she also has an attack called Unbridled Strength, which powers up her melee.
But at least every time you press the button, she does a punch.
Yeah.
Right.
And Cloud's thing is he has his regular stance that is faster and weaker, or I can switch like this to Predator mode, and then I'm slower, but I have these huge, wide, powerful attacks.
I'll say that the way that this is not like Yakuza then is that Yakuza is not. I mean, you can button mash fine, but like that is a game that is about like knowing your combos and doing them.
Yeah, this game definitely feels. It definitely has the RPG part of the action RPG is pretty forward in this game. In a way that the physical attacks in this can often feel like physical attacks in a turn-based RPG, where it just kind of feels like what you do in between like the big abilities.
Right.
There's even like difficulty settings where you can make it so that like the melee combat just happens on its own, and you sit back and pick the menu options. Here's a boss fight.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that mode. That does seem kind of like, I don't know that I would ever want to play that way, but it does seem kind of interesting.
The problem with that is that you can only play that mode on easy. So there's normal, easy, and then like easy, and you don't have to do the melee combat part.
Right. This is a long one today, Kylie.
This is a long one. This is we don't have time to finish this boss fight, but we started 15 minutes late. That was what I was thinking. So we're ending at 1:45. So are we there?
Who knows? Let's see.
This was a fight though where I felt like the battle system really started clicking, where it would be like, you know, I switch to one character, pop off a couple abilities that staggers the boss, and I switch to the next person and do their super attacks, and then, you know, like it felt like it was all really clicking in a great way.
It's 142 right now.
All right, yeah, we'll do a couple more minutes, then we'll close it out. You got any? You want to plug our stuff another time?
Yeah, sure. So if you like the stream, obviously we're doing this every Tuesday morning. I know today we started at noon instead of the morning, but that's close enough. Usually we'll start at 11. You can also watch any of our other things. There's so many new things happening. It's almost irresponsible.
It's almost irresponsible.
We've got Silent Hill Homecoming that's new. We have Shenmue 2 that's Patreon exclusive, contentburger.biz. It's not new, but it's newish. And we have Metal Gear Solid Let's Play. That's new. We've got the third episode is going out for patrons today.
Yes, Metal Gear Solid Episode 3 up for patrons right after this. Like after this thing goes off, I'm just gonna post the link and it's there.
Got it. And
ooh, here's ooh. Here we got a summon. Well, let's summon a boy.
Ooh, we get to do what is this, like a fire demon?
It's a fire demon.
Nice.
In the original game, the summons were just elaborate magic spells. Like you would sit back and watch your very pretty PS1 in-game cutscene as Ifrit shows up and does a big fire and then leaves. But here he kind of goes around and does his own thing.
Out for a bit.
But you can use your active time battle to like have him do some moves for you like this. Do a Crimson Dive, Ifrit. Whatever that looks like.
Why are there demons?
Because in Final Fantasy, you do a summon. Final Fantasy, do a summon.
I guess you're right. I guess I can't argue with it.
Yeah. Thank you.
It just seems that they have every kind of thing in this game.
Every kind of thing, yeah.
They've got fantasy. They've got sci-fi. They've got demons. They've got monsters.
Yeah,
they've got robots.
Thing is that Final Fantasy, it starts taking off in the 90s on the PS1, like in a huge way. Obviously, it was a popular series before that. And this was also the era of like that was what games were. Like games had to be everything. So it was like, damn, Final Fantasy, it's a story, it's a magic, there's monsters. There's mini games. You could snowboard, ride a motorcycle, play cards. I don't think FF7 had a card game, but the 8 and 9 certainly did.
Can you snowboard in this one?
This one has, I mean, the snowboarding part is after Midgar, so I can't imagine there's snowboarding in this game, but we will not be leaving Final Fantasy VII Remake before Cloud boards on snow. Let me tell you. There's our big boy. Big boy do a big burn. And I think that's enough of Final Fantasy VII Remake. Thanks so much everybody for watching. Thanks Keith for tolerating it. I appreciate you working with me.
Yeah, no, it seemed like a good thing. Or you know, it seems like something that I at least maybe am interested in trying.
Try it out. You love a good story.
Yeah,
I know you. I know this about you.
The stakes are low. I got kind of disappointed when you said that it's button mashing and that the minute-to-minute combat doesn't seem to matter very much. That seemed disappointing and honestly like a missed opportunity.
Perhaps,
but you know,
again, from my perspective, I feel like the combat is less mashy and more involved than I expected, because it's definitely more than Kingdom Hearts 3, and it's certainly more than Crisis Core.
Right.
So,
well, bye.
Oh, okay, bye. I couldn't hear the build-up. I thought the build-up just started. Well, Keith will be streaming next time.